Hello class, this is Mr. Vargas and I am here to introduce you to our second practice free response question. So this one is from, again, it's from the 2019 AP exam. And this one's a little tougher than the first one. And I think one of the reasons why this one's a little tougher is because you can't really code this one. I mean, you could, but there's big sections of code that are not written, not given to you, and you're not even required to code. It's just a method that is part of this AP calendar class that you can use, but you're not responsible for coding it, and they don't show you how it works. So if you were to code this on your own, you would have to write code that is not necessary for you to do. So the AP calendar class. So over here they give you an outline of the class, and if you notice, there's lots of comments here because there's actually no code done. There are a couple that they just say implementation not shown, which means that you are just to assume that it works the way it's supposed to. And then there are a couple that says to be implemented in part A or to be implemented in part B. So those are the ones that you're supposed to do. So let's just look at these five methods real quick. So over here we have is leap year. So this one takes in a year and it just returns true if it's a leap year, false if otherwise. So that's why the return type is a Boolean. You don't have to code this one. Again, you will have to use it, but you don't have to code it. Over here we have number of leap years. So this one you will have to code. It takes in 2 years, and you return the number of leap years in between those 2 years. Over here we have first day of the year. So this returns if the first day of the year is it a Monday, a Tuesday, Sunday, and so forth. The way they do it is Sunday is a 0. So this returns an int. And the way it works is Sundays are 0s, Mondays are 1s, and so forth. Like a Saturday would be a 6. So it goes from 0 to 6. And and this one implementation is not shown. You will use it, but you don't have to code it. This one over here, day of the year. So this one, what is this one? The returns. Wait, we just talked about this one. Public static. Oh, this one tells you what what number. Like if you put February 25th, it will tell you 48. Like it'll know what day of the year it is. And then finally over here, this is the one that you're gonna code. This is day of the week. So if you remember, first day of the year will tell you if the first day of the year is a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or Thursday. This one will allow you to put in a later date in the year, and it returns if that day is a Sunday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. So this one gives you what the first day of the year is. This one will return are we the 50th day of the year or the 100th day of the year? And then the one you are going to code will tell you when for a specific day, is that day a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday? All right. So this is so again, this is going to take you a few minutes, or a little bit to just kind of wrap your head around. So I would, I explained it, but I would reread it again, read the comments. Precondition. This is just stuff that's assumed to be true beforehand. Um, so just kind of get familiar with that. It's hard to answer the questions unless you have some understanding of what the class does overall. All right, so now the methods you're going to do. The first method, you're going to do, so notice these are all static methods. That just means that AP Calendar can be used without creating a new AP Calendar object. If you see static, static doesn't really come into play, but if you're using things that are static, then the method that's calling a static method also needs to be static. But it doesn't really matter because they give you the method header and they put the static in there for you. So you're writing a static method called number of leap years. And again, this returns the number of leap years between a beginning and end year. So over here, this is where you would write your solution. So again, you have 1 year, you have another year, and you have to go from here to here, and you have to keep track of how many leap years you have. Notice that they give you a really important hint right here. In order to calculate this value, a helper method is provided for you, is leap year. So you can take any year, call is leap year, and is leap year will return true or false if that year is a leap year. So this question is actually worth 5 points. So it's worth more than half the points. And I think it's easier than the second one. Um, so if you could just get this part, you're doing probably close to average on this quiz. And again, what are you doing? You're keeping track of something, and then eventually you're returning it. We've done this a lot of times, right? They're giving you a starting spot, they're giving you an ending spot, and then they're giving you a tool that can, as you go from one spot to the other, they give you a tool that allows you to see if a year meets the condition that we want. And if it does, then we know that the number of leap years goes up by one, right? So let's go to B. So this one was kind of tricky for me. Um, so you need to calculate the day of the week for a particular day. So day of the week, January 10th, 2019, it should return 4, right? Why? Because that day is a Thursday, right? Um, so they gave you some examples up here. So they give you some other examples up here. Read those examples, see how they work, and then it's time to code. All right. So they give you some helper methods. This helper method tells you the first day of a particular year. What does it fall on? This helper method tells you um, a specific day. How many days are we from the start? So think about it. They're giving you what day of the week. This method can tell you what day of the week the start is, like the first day of that year. And this particular method can tell you how many days are we removed from the first day of the year. Okay? So how can you use that to figure out what day of the week we are on a specific day? So yeah, so this one's a little tricky. I think again, use the examples. Once you think you have a solution, use these examples and see if the example makes sense. Send me questions and good luck. So again, and remember what I talked about when I reviewed the answers for the first free response. If you don't understand everything, just do as much as you can. You'd be surprised how many of the points you're actually going to get. So good luck, and so good luck.